Hello guys. Today I am going to talk on the one very important kind of mineral. You can say basically the rare minerals. It can be also said as rare magnets. So what is exactly rare magnets? Rare magnets are basically the magnets which are made out of the minerals which are said to be rare and which are found in a particular areas and parts of the world. These minerals are used to make the magnets, which afterwards are used in very important factors as well as instruments such as electronic devices, vehicles, um other electronic goods and services. So basically, these type of rare earth minerals are made and transformed through a proper process with the help of uh, proper scientific machines as well as tools. Such processing makes these minerals into magnets, and these magnets are in turn used as the uh, source of energy, a particular object or a particular thing which is very important for the devices as well as the vehicles to work upon. So these are used in phones, our bikes, cars, and whatnot. Like, and most of the electronic goods in which the technology is involved, these rare minerals are involved in that. So basically, you can see how intense and how important is this rare earth mineral is. Now we see what is the main factor that the for the formation of the rare magnets, there should be the rare mineral found in a particular area. So what is the particular segment of its availability? Is rare earth minerals is highly, like 90% of the rare earth minerals of the world is found in China. Okay, so China, as you all know, world's greatest superpower, yet competing with USA for the first position. So it has the world's largest amount of the rare earth minerals, which is 90% of the share. So we can say, like, at most the majority of the rare earth kind of produce and the manufacturing and working uh, does in China, and after that comes like one to other countries, and then at the fourth position comes India, which is 6.9 or a million tons, or basically you can say as the fourth position in the world. But here comes the main challenge. The rare earth minerals is not something which can be used directly. As I told you already, it has to be converted into the magnets for being used in all these goods and the services. So for the conversion, like very sophisticated and very hi-fi tools as well as machines are required for the conversion, so which is not very freely available or is being there in India at large numbers. Okay. Now, one more challenge what here is, and yeah. So before this, I will also say about the US. US is not prominent in this field. It is basically kind of the position of maybe sixth or seventh. I don't properly remember, but it was actually sixth or seventh in the availability of the rare earth minerals in the particular area of the US. So India is actually fourth, and and China stands at the first place in the availability section. Now, what comes is, um, one more important factor is rare earth minerals extraction as well as its processing is actually a very complex and very sensitive matter. Okay, this whole rare earth mineral cycle is very critical as well as very sensitive. As what I exactly mean by that is, like, it is actually very toxic. Like, it releases many chemicals as well as gases through its process, which cause which causes many diseases as well as cancer. So basically that is something very hazardous, and this is the main and the foremost reason why the process or the extraction as well as the conversion of the rare earth minerals does not succeed in developing countries, or especially if I say in a democracy, what we know what is exactly a democracy is, if there is an implementation of a plan and if there are some of the consequences, even though the plan is actually a good one and a successful one and a working on the betterment of the future, but if it has a, some of the opposing or the bad impacts at the present, then the overall opposition just works on them and a particular plan is never executed properly. So that's the whole like kind of flaw, we can say, of the democracy, if implementation of a good plan is there. So this was the same case as in the extraction and the processing of the rare earth minerals. So India as a democracy couldn't succeed, which was the main and foremost reason. And the second also one important reason is it, as I told you, it is very sensitive as well as very crucial matter. Thus, because of this, it may cause cancer and the other diseases. That's why the extraction is actually very like critical and uh, very important to be taken part as well as the work on. That's why it requires a lot of importance, and which is not exactly possible in a country like democracy. It has to be work on autocracy or like autocratic rule, or maybe which is working in a China, basically where there is not a democracy, thus there would be not many oppositions, as well as the success rate of the whole process and the processing of this factor is very high. That's why the country like China is implementing it, and that too by God's grace they have the most availability of this rare earth minerals as well. Discussed as China has the whole autocratic rule of rare earth minerals production as well as the manufacturing and processing into the rare earth magnets in the world. So the main question arises is, as it has the whole 90% of the share, so basically, and also one more thing we know is rare earth magnets is used throughout the electronic devices, vehicles, and refrigerators and whatnot, like kind of every kind of very every important thing which we run or work on a day-to-day basis requires rare earth minerals. So what do you think? Like China has the 90% of the share as autocratic control over the rare earth production as well as the exports throughout the world. So how, like, would it be really impacting to the other countries, as it will be, it is the sole uh, exporter and like the sole like production and like supplier throughout the world of the rare earth minerals. So like the proper sole supplier of such an important mineral, would it be like capturing the whole world in kind of economy basis, because that is something China has almost grown to be as equivalent as USA in terms of economy, GDP growth, technology, and sustainability, like everything else. It has grown till the best level to compete with the USA at the present. So it's basically kind of in a rat. It's kind of in the first second race with the US, but as it still has the like a mineral like mineral presence as well as its export and the import is something which is like throughout the whole century and throughout the whole future. So it can't be impacted, right? So how uh, is China is going to capture the whole world in terms of economy? That's the main question, because it has the whole mineral resource and capturing could be very easy for us, very easy for them, if they just keep continuing with the whole property of the sole trading of the rare earth minerals, as it is the most important mineral out there which is used in the devices, and which is something which is USA is lesser upon compared to the China, which is the first case which has happened. Like USA basically depends on the crude oil and the other things, but the rare earth minerals is solely on China. So would it be uh, impacting China on that basis? And China has it has the sole production as well as the control over the rarest mineral? Would it be used in a case where it will put the authority on the other countries in the future, as it is something the whole electronic world is running upon, the automobile world is running upon? So if it controls the authority and kind of goes in an evil way, if it goes in an evil way, that can be the case. That is going to happen. The World War III is not something delusional. It can be made into the concrete reality if something like this is happening, because the resources are not equally spread and the resources are diminishing. They are uh, destroyed, being destroyed, used up, and so before consuming to the fullest level, there would be something of fight, civil war, which is going to happen. And would China be the main cause, using the power of the sole contractor of the rare earth minerals in a very evil and a very selfish way? And if that happens, that is something which can be the cause of the World War III, or maybe a huge world massacre, to be honest. And again, the fight between the both two world superpowers, the two entities, China and the USA, is something which is kind of really crazy up into being watched up, and we have to see how these all changes with the respect of the other resources, the exports, imports, the GDP, economies, the politics, and like everything else. As we know, a lot of things are happening in the today's world. A lot of news is coming on a day-to-day basis, which is kind of factors which may be responsible for the next huge fight between these two superpowers, obviously leading to the fight between the two groups. Maybe the world war is not something which is real, which may be real in the future. That was my point of view. If you have something, just please, I would really like to get shared a lot of things of your views, of your point of view, your questions, and a lot of your strategies which you want to make me work upon in the next projects. So until then, thank you so much. Keep watching Dinesh.